provisions, the lone wolf, roving wiretap, and Section 215 business records authorities will expire unless Congress acts to reauthorize them. The House has been working on a bill, H.R. 1800, that would make the lone wolf provision permanent and extend the other two provisions until December 2017. Senator Feinstein and Leahy have sponsored bills that would, among other things, extend all three provisions until December 2013. It seems to me that 1038, with its extension of the three sunsets until June 1, 2015, is a reasonable compromise. Although I believe that each one of these tools should be made permanent, this bill will ensure that our intelligence professionals have the tools they need to keep our nation safe. There's little disagreement that these provisions should and must be reauthorized. FBI Director Robert Mueller has testified repeatedly that each one of these provisions is important to both national security as well as criminal investigations. But their importance does not end there. Because of enhanced information sharing rules and procedures, other parts of the intelligence community, like the National Counterterrorism Center and the National Counterproliferation Center, often depend on the information collected under these provisions. Losing or changing these authorities could adversely impact the intelligence community's ability to analyze and share important national intelligence information. According to Director Mueller, with all the new technology, it is easy for a terrorist target to buy 4 or 5 cell phones, use them in quick succession, and then dump them to avoid being intercepted. He has testified that the ability to track terrorists when they do this is tremendously important. I couldn't agree more, because it's pretty obvious those guys are up to something, and it's not good. Our enemies often know our own laws better than we do. They understand the hoops and hurdles the government must clear to catch up to or stay ahead of them. Keep in mind that the FBI cannot use a roving wiretap until a court finds probable cause to believe that the target is an agent of a foreign power. Some critics claim the provision allows the FBI to avoid meeting probable cause as surveillance moves from phone to phone. This claim is simply not accurate, as every roving wiretap must be approved by a FISA court judge. If a target changes his cell phone and the FBI moves to surveil the new phone, the court is notified of that change. All of the protections for U.S. person information that apply to any other FISA wiretap also applies to roving wiretaps. In short, while this authority is a tremendous asset for the FBI and has been used 140 times over the past 5 years, it poses no additional civil liberties concerns, and it should be renewed without delay. With regard to Section 215, the Business Records Act, over the past several years, the rallying cry against the Patriot Act has centered on Section 215, FISA Business Records Authority. Section 215 allows the FBI to seek FISA court authority to obtain business records such as hotel information or travel records. As with each one of the expiring provisions, the FBI must meet the statutory standard of proof. The Inspector General from the Department of Justice conducted several audits of the FBI's use of Section 215 orders and found no abuses of the authority. Director Mueller testified that the business records sought by the FBI in terrorism investigations are absolutely essential to identifying other persons who may be involved in terrorist activities. The lone wolf provision, the sole expiring provision under the Patriot Act that has not been used by the FBI, prompting some critics to demand its repeal, is the lone wolf definition of an agent of a foreign power. Recent events have demonstrated that self-radicalizing individuals with no clear affiliation to existing terrorist groups are a growing threat to national security. The lone wolf provision provides a counter to that threat, at least in the cases of a non-U.S. person who is readily identifiable with a particular foreign power. The lone wolf provision is a necessary tool that will only need to be used in limited circumstances. It's kind of like those in case of emergency break glass boxes that cover certain fire alarms and equipment. While we may not use it too much, we will certainly wish we had it when the right situation comes up. In conclusion, I am grateful for the leadership of Senators Reid and McConnell on this crucial piece of legislation. This bill will ensure that our intelligence and law enforcement professionals can continue doing what they do best without any additional restrictions. Our nation has been fortunate to have not suffered a sequel to the 9/11 attacks, and much of the credit goes to the dedicated work of our intelligence and law enforcement professionals. We owe them not only our thanks, but the recognition that their jobs are as difficult as it is, and we should not be taking any steps that will make their responsibility to protect this country any more difficult. Mr. President, I urge a vote in support of invoking cloture on the motion to proceed, and I yield the floor and suggest the absence of a quorum.
Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Okaka.